And thank you, Ujima Boston, for having me. Thank you for holding space. Thank you for being progressive in the way you guys organize and collaborate and being a walking example of an organization that is built to last and sustain and being uh, open to the fact that people are people. You know what I'm saying? I really respect that as this organization. That's why I was so open to do this workshop. So the spark of something bigger, creativity, cooperation, and collective power. Rob Ujima workshop. Let's get it. So let's put in work. Let's get it. How do creative ideas become powerful movements? So before we get into that, we're gonna this whole workshop is gonna be me discussing. Do you guys feel comfortable with me sitting down? You want me to stand up? It's, what y'all feeling? Y'all cool with me sitting down? Okay. I bet. So basically, we're going to discuss that. And before we get into that, we'll talk a little bit about my background so you can understand why I'm even being able to share these ideas. You know what I'm saying? And why and what I've done. So, next slide. So, these are things I've creatively executed. I have 10 plus years of professional experience, as I just discussed, 20 plus years of independent hustles. You know, what I mean, I remember the first time I finessed a paper route when I was 7 years old so I can get a toy gun. Parents did not rock with that. And that was where I learned authority. You get what I'm saying? Because I got the money, I finessed the paper route, but I brought home the toy gun, and my parents said, hey, wait a second. That's not allowed in this household. And, you know, I built MySpace pages. I know, you know, that's an outdated system, but you know, MySpace pages and tags. I promoted my own radio station in my teen years, and I was just always very um, open to the idea of creation and open to the new things that came, even before people could understand it or understand me. And so, in that regard, being so understanding to people and being understanding to situations led me into talent management. I felt like when it comes to a career, I wanted to get into something where I know I could be mentally, physically, and spiritually fulfilled, even though I didn't know it uh, physically or like I couldn't articulate that at the time. But I knew that no matter where I went or what I did in my life, there was always an abundance of talent. People could do things. You know what I'm saying? I remember being a young boy at camp and this dude used to draw on sneakers, you know what I'm saying? And I turned it into a bit, I was like the middleman of him selling his drawings on sneakers, and then the whole camp had their sneakers drawn on. And, you know, those things prompted me and just like I could do this. And then time and time again, creative things happen, and I saw the value in creativity even when no one really like I'm not gonna say no one did, but I really just was like, bro, this is crazy. And I get that feeling every day, even to this day like, yo, this is crazy. This is happening. So blessed to be some of my talent that I managed, got blessed to be a part of hit records with major label acts that has garnered me a lot of success in the music industry and just a lot of insight into the music industry. And then I started my own company based off the needs of artists. We don't have to get too much into that, but that's just why I'm talking about these things and where my expertise and my knowledge comes from. Uh, Things I've done cooperatively. I'm the co-owner of Dorchester Art Project. I'm the co-owner of Rise Studios. I was the partner to dozen of Rising Talent, handler of their prized possession, which is their IP and their mind. You know what I'm saying? People have trusted me time and time again with the most vulnerable thing they have, which is their talent and their abilities and what they create. And I don't play with that. Um, I don't take it lightly. You know what I'm saying? It informs everything I do and how I move. And most importantly, I'm the brother of Bugs in Paris, the little brother. You know what I'm saying? So that taught me, you know what I mean, having big two older sisters taught me a lot about living cooperatively. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, continue on. In this workshop, we'll discuss what it means to create a student and build power cooperatively. We'll go over topics such as creativity, your source, power, and a mix of my life story. We'll continue on. We'll break this workshop into 4 sections: creativity, knowing your source, cooperation, and building power collectively. This workshop is for all ages, beginners and pro. For beginners, it could be a first foot forward. For professionals, it could be a great refresher and reminder. Let's get it. All right. Any questions? All right, let's get it. All right, so we'll start with what is creativity? You get what I'm saying? And we just move on to the next slide. This is the definition of creativity, relating to or involving the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of an artistic work, marked by the ability or power to create. Now, this word, I didn't ever realize how powerful this word is because creativity isn't just in art. It's not just in music and film. It's in everything we do. Every day, when we wake up, we make hundreds of decisions throughout the day. And we're using our creativity no matter what. You get what I'm saying? And you can hone in on the muscle or you can let the muscle slip. I choose to hone in on it. We'll get to the end. And explore. There's no limit to creativity. There's no boundaries. There's no rules. So in this aspect, because there's no rules, because it's so open, you can move on to the next slide. Creativity is freedom, and freedom is chaos. So when you're making amazingly creative decisions and you have the ability to make any decisions, sometimes you're going to feel it's all over the place. And that's a part of the freedom that creativity brings. And nothing's wrong with that. And that's not a feeling that you have to run away from. It's a feeling you should embrace. And you got to understand, like, from my standpoint and my mindset is, once I learned that sometimes that chaoticness is what I'm after and what I'm chasing, not I can run towards it and figure out how best to serve it. And that's where cooperatives have taught me, cooperative values and collective building has taught me how to find, um, what word can we, how to find solace together in that chaos that freedom and creativity bring when the mind is very loud, because the mind gets loud when you're creating. But continue on. And then the freedom, the power to or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. And sometimes in this world, I have felt hindered and restrained, but never internally. You get what I'm saying? I've never been restricted internally in my mind. I always knew that whatever I think can happen and I can make it happen. And, but sometimes time's physical space and time controls how fast it happens or the pace of which it happens. But my mind has always been telling me, and the things I was able to see has always told me, like, freedom is available to us. And everything I'm talking about in this workshop, for me personally, freedom is my main goal. You know, being able to do whatever, whenever, with whoever, and not being hindered. It's been a thing I've been chasing, and I've never been closer because of cooperatives and the collective ability. So I'm just a champion of this now, but continue. So deciding what do you want to create, build, and grow. Um, and that helps with going forward once we go deeper into this, like knowing your source and knowing where you're coming from, why you're coming from, and what you want, and finding like-minded people and finding like-minded, and not in the sense of they don't always look like you, they don't always act like you, they don't always move. It might be unfamiliar, but the like-mindedness is in the want, the mind, the growth. Where do you see yourself going? But continue. And then I want y'all to think. It don't have to be 2 minutes. We can think for 30 seconds. And if we want to share, we can share. If we want to keep it to ourselves and write it down, we can. But think, what do you want to grow? And what do you want to build and create?
Like one time for the one time and stuff. I feel like one of my personal desires that I would like to grow is people's appetite for power. I think that well, positive power to be specific. I think in our communities we have so much lack that people get used to it, and that becomes like their glass ceiling. And I feel like everyone quote unquote knows they could do more, but no one aspires to do more because of what like the everyday struggle of like dealing with poverty, dealing with violence and trauma and mental health, so on and so forth. And so I always thought that like if people could just want more, they would just do more. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're hungry, you're gonna eat. And I think a lot of people have learned to like cull that emotion and that desire for more because they told themselves that they can't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like the metaphor where you like put a chain on an elephant when it's a baby, it doesn't think it can break it, and then you can put a rope on it, and then for the rest of its life, it just got that that mentality. So that is something I would like to build and grow in my community. Is Theo next? Anybody?
I'll pass. Yeah. Sorry. And thank you for sharing, Steph. Appreciate you, brother. And so when you think about those things, and you think about what you want to create and grow. One second. Yeah, when you think about what you want to create and share and grow, that's a very internal process. You know what I'm saying? So you guys don't have to share. It's not for anything. It's not for me to know. You get what I'm saying? And even this whole workshop, nobody has to share outwardly. You know what I'm saying? This is all an internal thing. I hope you guys process it as I did, and grow from there. Um, and this is my personal thoughts. Before you can create and build cooperatively successfully, you have to know life and creation is not one size fits all. Every situation is different and requires a different level of understanding and thought behind it. But there are variables that stay the same throughout it all, and that's way before you build power collectively. You have to know what is your source. A source, the place where something begins, where it springs from. So this is something that no matter what you do in life, these things are the same. You get what I'm saying? They're the source, they're the root. um, Knowing more about my parents, knowing more about my grandfather, knowing more about being a Black American has informed a lot of decisions that I have made going forward in a way that, dang, I wish I would have done that information sooner because it informed my grandfather he's a Grady baby from the west side of Atlanta, and he came to Boston uh, as a Navyman. You get what I'm saying? And in his time as a Navyman, he met my grandmother. And when he met my grandmother wanted him. You know what I'm saying? Fit. You know what I'm saying? And you know how she was trying. You know what I mean? He was staying focused for a little bit, but she got him. And two twins came out the situation. You get what I'm saying? Uh, those twins was my father and um his twin sister, Roberta. So Robert and Roberta. So even my name, I'm the third, you know what I'm saying? I'm the third Robert Lee. So my name is informed by my father's name, which is informed by his father's name. Even my name itself is informed by three generations of people. Um, and that probably informed why I'm so stuck on legacy. And so even their decisions to even name me this kind of determines in my mindset why I am the way I am a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And knowing these things has allowed me to evaluate situations that I've been through, and even going forward, like my grandfather, the only reason he even joined the military was because in Atlanta, he went to firefighter school in like Tennessee in the 1940s and then came back to Atlanta and they weren't hiring Black firefighters in Atlanta. So because of that, he had to join the military. And once he joined the military, he got shipped to Boston. So this created over 15 people. This one life thing happening created my sisters, my father, my nieces, my nephews, and then my kids. I'm trying to have a heap of kids too in due time. So knowing that has informed me. And my grandfather, he didn't get a chance to explore. I remember talking to him before he passed away, and he just was telling me about how much he couldn't do, how restricted he was in his life, and how he never seen anything like me, and he didn't think he could see something like me. You get what I'm saying? In his lifetime, and that I have the opportunity and the ability to go as far as I want if I choose to. And he said he cried to me. You know what I mean? And my grandfather lost his voice box in his 30s due to cigarette in his 40s. So I never heard my grandfather's real voice. So that's the reason why I never smoked a cigarette. So my grandfather lost his voice box, and so when he talks, you gotta listen because he don't talk often. And you know what I mean? He made it to 90 years old, gratefully. But knowing that source informs a lot of my work, informs how I deal with people, informs how I engage the world, even before I was acutely aware of it. You know what I mean? So, um, and it also informs how I can come together in a group because I know my family now. I talk to my aunts and I sit with them and they tell me my mother how she used to be a dancer. She was with one of Brooke Payne who found New Edition's early groups, and she got dropped because he wanted to focus on one of the singers because she was just a dancer. And then so she has an interesting relationship with music, but once she Once I became of age, I was like 8 years old. My mother sat me down and produced a record for me, and we went on. She turned me into a Christian rapper pretty much, and we went to that New Covenant. You know what I'm saying? Now it's Jubilee, but we went on. You know what I mean? Recorded some records. You know what I mean? I got to perform on stages, and at 13, 14, I said I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be in the behind the scenes of the business of entertainment. But if my mother never was a dancer, who knows if that even thought would have been processed to me? Who knows what my mind would have thought, like who knows the possibilities that my mind would have thought of when it comes to this space. But this is my career now, this is my whole life, and it might have been because of my mother, you know, and knowing that information and knowing how she feels about music even now, because my mother doesn't really play records, you know, she doesn't even. My father loved dancing around, you know what I'm saying? Shaggy It Wasn't Me is his favorite song ever, you know what I'm saying? He loves dancing, you know what I'm saying? And he loves feeling. So even knowing that, just, you know, there's things when I get in a dark place or I get in a place of like, dang, I can't or I won't, I think about all the people before me that came and made it possible for me to even be alive and here. And that informs my ability to show up in community. Uh, and yeah, so who are you? And I just, you know, broke a little bit down. Who am I now? And who I am, this answer to this question changes often. And it doesn't have to be, it's not static. You know what I'm saying? It's a dynamic question. Who you are today does not need to be who you are tomorrow. And nobody should say otherwise, in my opinion. And who I am now is just I try to be a man of integrity, which my father every day before I went to school, my father used to say to me, like, you know, you a leader and not a follower. You know, you are a man of integrity. You know, you are a man that is going to walk a path that is only for him to follow and for him to deal with all the ups and downs. And those little things I used to be like, all right, pops, you know what I'm saying? But now, uh, those 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 words and his actions kind of like they resonate in my actions, you know what I mean? And it was little, as light at the time, but he was there every day and he instilled in me a lot of things and they determine who I am. So who I am now, in my opinion, and I want y'all to also think about who you are. In my opinion, who I am is just a man of integrity, a man who wants to grow, a man who wants to serve his community. And now that I have this new language, which is the cooperative language, I wish I would have learned this years ago, where when you know who you are and what you are able to do, you can come into community and cooperate at a high level because you know what you want and what you can do. And that was key for me. Like I always been a man who knew what he wanted and what he did, but I thought I had to do it alone. You know what I mean? And that's probably I'm not a who woulda, shoulda, woulda, but when you do it together, you can go a lot further, a lot quicker, and get a lot more done. And then you also have to grow at a substantial rate because you have to hold yourself accountable with the people next to you. And that's where the who you are proponent, because the language and the frameworks and the understanding, once you get new information, people are data, people are information, everyone's life story and what they're able to go to and being informed by other people's who you are swiftly changes your perspective on what's possible in life. So yeah, and then that's like a little bit about me, just about my expertise in just Dorchester Art Project and music business and uh, yeah. Why are you like this and what is your purpose? Once again, this is a dynamic question. Your purpose can quickly change. It doesn't have to be stuck. Initially, when I first started my career, I thought my purpose was, you know, make a lot of music, travel the world, and do a lot of things that didn't really do much by me once I got older and I accomplished those things. Now, seeing like the growth of my community members, seeing the growth of people I just invested time, energy, and effort and resources into grow in their careers in this space and feel like they can also be powerful has changed the way I view everything, you know, and that's the spark we're talking about here. Is like when you become someone of value to yourself, you can install sparks into others so they can understand their value and their worth. And it's up to us to sharpen each other and let each other know that you are worthy. By being here today, by being alive, you are worthy. And sometimes it seems light once you get past that point, but it's a thing that people need to be reminded of. And that's what I think my purpose is now is just to show every like to when I talk to someone just to let them know like you're worthy, like you're valuable and your talent. Everyone has a talent. Like there's nobody without a talent on this earth. Like you do something at a higher level than, but everyone does something at a high, like we're gifted, all of us. So knowing that and figuring it out and being there to help people figure out, that's what I feel like my purpose is now. But man, 2 minute break, but we can go through. Yeah, we can go through. Being informed on where, who, what, and why is consciousness. Being able to know the things around you and why they exist and who you are and what how to it allows you to now interact with things at a higher level because you're informed on why you're there and why you're in the room and what you are able to bring to the room. So now when you look at a book and you walk through it, it it just look different once you know who you are and what you're able to bring to a situation. And when you accomplish that level of consciousness, the world opens up. You start to realize, in my opinion, and what I've noticed is like the amount of possibilities that are already in the air. You know what I mean? You can hold on to any negative thing you want, but every possibility that's out there for you is already in the air. It's not like a new thing being formed. And I think that's where cooperation and collective power building is crucial because people inform you. Learning being conscious of yourself is knowing your source, knowing yourself and your purpose make cooperation easier and power building come natural. This is a lifelong journey. Being able to cooperate with the person next to you, getting better at listening, getting better at understanding, getting learning new frameworks, new language to elevate your interactions. And then through your elevated interactions, elevated possibilities occur. And this is not something I'm talking about from outside perspective. This is something I know from doing talent management for years, from doing sometimes my talent management when it comes to how I manage talent is going in there, assessing things that they already have available, and maybe making a small act. And that can 10x to 100x whatever they had going on. Just coming in from an outside perspective. And even that, I didn't know was cooperation. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was doing it naturally. Like sometimes people have they're so in it that they don't even see the possibilities that their life brings. They don't even ask the person next to them or the person we're so in it. We're so siloed sometimes with our own lives that we don't realize that every answer is already in the air and it might be in the person next door. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, continue. My first introduction, my first introduction into cooperative like cooperation. Let's see. Next slide. My family, as we just discussed. So, that's my mother, that's me, that's baby me. So you see my father taking turns sleeping with me, my mother taking turns sleeping with me. That's the big O, that's my nana, that's my grandfather. They both passed. That's my father. Then that's my mother's side of the family, the Pearsons. You know what I'm saying? We from Heath Street Projects in JP. You know what I'm saying? And that's us. And we always live, grow, cookouts, family reunions together. We live together. And I didn't know it was cooperation. I just thought it was natural. It's just family. And but then I got the chance as I got older to see how other people families are more disconnected or don't come through. We're chaotic, you get what I'm saying? But if someone needs someone, they come, you get what I'm saying? So that's the start of our family. My parents was 20 years young, had their first kid. They still together. It's been 40 years. So I seen my mother and father, they're still together right now. I seen them stay down with each other. And that cooperation um, taught me so much about what two people can do. You know what I mean? And what just two people, like two people that come together for a shared goal and a shared mindset to build a family. And my parents are the first generation. They both from the projects. They're the first generation. Um, they're the first generation working class in their family. And their motive was just to make a better life for us. And they successfully did. And yeah, I'm just thankful to be able to witness that. And I know it's a privilege and an honor to be able to witness that because some people don't get to witness that. And that's a power that I hold, but they created that power for me to hold. You get what I'm saying? Because they decided that was what's best for their family, you know what I mean? And that's my nana on my mother's side. Uh, and my nana and my grandmother and my grandfather on my father's side, on my mother's side, my she's from South Carolina and my grandfather was from Roxbury. He was a number runner. You get what I'm saying? So they lived a very interesting life. They had 7 kids together. They didn't live together. My mother just wanted different. You get what I'm saying? And through that decision, created our family. You get what I'm saying? And uh, yeah, so that's my first idea on what cooperative like is. These people right here all came together in different ways, all dealt with whatever was in front of them to build something. And we're still building it. It doesn't stop. It's lifelong. So my kids, their kids, they got kids. Everyone in this picture has kids. Like her youngest, her oldest. This one's oldest. One second, let me get up. This one oldest just graduated high school and is going to college. You get what I'm saying? So every one of them, she got a 13-year-old, she got a 21 and a 5-year-old, she has a 27-year-old, he has 10 kids. You get what I'm saying? He has 10. He ain't stopped. He can't stop. You get what I'm saying? They're in North Carolina, they're in Boston. So this one picture is 200 people. You get what I'm saying? And that is cooperation, no matter what, the family unit. And I have a very Black American family. I don't know if you can say, but you get what I'm saying? We do what we can. And um, I, I just want to do more so that we can be even tighter. You know what I'm saying? And have the resources to be tighter and do things. My goddaughter, which is also my cousin, his my goddaughter is his daughter's daughter. You get what I'm saying? And her 7th birthday is on Friday, so we're organizing that now. Um, so just things like that. But I'm not gonna get too much. I love my family, but continue, continue. Process of working together to the same end. That's what cooperation is. Understanding that there's something that we all want to achieve. And Dorchester Art Project very much informed my frameworks and understanding as we took over an organization that was, at the time, it was probably 9 years old. And it was under a white nonprofit leadership. And we came together as a steering committee of 6, all from different sides of our community, me from the talent management sector, Steph from the organizing sector, Oz from the artist sector, Lena from the philanthropy nonprofit sector, Adrian from the worker owned cooperative sector and worker leadership sector, and Amias from the faculty sector of managing space. And we decided that we have the resources and the understanding to turn Dorchester Art Project into something that can provide value still, even as it was fledging, or deemed as fledging. And in that process, it's been 3 years since we did that. I've learned so much about myself, my peers, and about what's possible. What's what you're able to do when you don't give up on a vision together. And that information has informed a lot of my work to this day, and it changed me as a man and as a person, and it just made my belief in cooperative so strong because I'm a, a person who's been through it and now can explain it to people. But so this is just 7 cooperatives principles. These are very uh, generic principles that usually the cooperatives follow. Um, and I'm not going to get too much into that, but that informed a lot of Dorchester Art Project's original work. Um, and yeah, you guys can take your time and do the research on that. It's 7 cooperative principles: voluntary open membership, democratic member control, members' economic participation, autonomy and independence, education, training, and information, cooperation among cooperatives, and concern for community. These are the things that, as we connected, brought us together. Um, this is some language for you guys to take on. I'm not super, what I mean, on it. But this is what informed us and what I walked through and lived through. So if you guys want to do more research and check out the 7 cooperative principles, learn more about it, and figure out how you can organize amongst yourself and your community. And yeah, we already answered this before, so like our initial conversation. So we can move on with that. But I wanted to know what are some times you guys work together successfully, cooperatively, successfully. But we already did that. And now we're talking about execution. Um, and why execution is so important to power building and to development and to cooperatively doing stuff. Is it what? No, go back. is carrying out or putting into effort a plan, order, or course of action. You feel me? So we can get together all day, but when we decided that we're going to execute cooperatively is when things change. You get what I'm saying? We meet to meet to meet all day. We do meet a lot. You get what I'm saying? But when it's time to like, what is the plan and to develop the plan and to get on the order and understanding what exactly is needed of us, execution is key. And we just move on. Okay. Execution is precision. Execution is a fight for progress and growth. As I said earlier, freedom is chaos. You get what I'm saying? And when you execute together, it's the fight for to grow together. And that's what we have committed to at Dorchester Art Project. But wait, process, output, feedback, repeat. This is the process that we repeat over and over again. Input, process, output, feedback, and grow each time. That's our execution strategy. And then what are your goals? But either someone's ambition or aim or desired result. And we're gonna wrap it up shortly for a Q&A. But and then these are some things that I follow. This is like the standard when it comes to smart goal setting. This is something that I live by now with anything that I do. When it comes to specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound, and doing it together. Smart goals are key to, you know, making things happen. What tools do you have to reach your goals? I'm gonna move through these swiftly, okay? Because we're about to wrap up. But what are your resources? Developing what are your resources? Developing who you have, what do you do, who next to you can actually help you achieve your goal. As we said earlier, like knowing your goal and then knowing what you're able to accomplish, being open to cooperate. You have to be open to cooperate. You have to allow yourself to be willing to cooperate. And then you can say, okay, now what are my resources? If you want to make it, this is my tweet. If you got to make it, you got to have a plan, a budget, influence. Having 2 out of 3 might work. Having 1 out of 3 out of possible. Having 1 out of 3 is possible. Having 0 out of 3 is probably not happening for real. So I want to add another thing to this now. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a plan, budget, influence, and a network. You get what I'm saying? I want to add network to this. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, but how you utilize the tools and resources at your disposal to reach your goals. The answer to this question is key. You get what I'm saying? And understanding what you have at your availability so that you can elevate yourself and your surroundings at a high level and really processing this. You don't have to move fast. It's not about being the quickest. It's not about being the fastest. It's about making really good thought out decisions and finding people that are like-minded and not finding the first person. Like it doesn't have to be the person right next to it. It's not about convenience either. It's about really figuring out who fits what you want to do, especially if you plan on doing it for a very long time. So don't skip that step or make that too fast when the people you're doing this work with, you'll have to be with for a long time. So have to be open to their changes. And it's a partnership, it's a relationship. You have to be open to their changes, their mindset shifts, their moods. You have to be okay because you understand that their heart and their integrity and their mind is one worthy of going the fight in the distance with. You know what I mean? Oh, that's me. Just questioning, thinking. You get what I'm saying? That's me just thinking, processing. And just, pondering, you know what I'm saying? Life is about thinking deeply, thinking as thoroughly as you can. And, don't be scared to just sit back and, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be scared of it. Like, it's key. Like, sometimes I tell Steph, I'm not going nowhere this week. I'm just about to think for a little bit. You get what I'm saying? I'm not maneuvering. I'm not moving today. Like, even no matter what, like, I don't believe outside where all the thing is. Sometimes you got to just sit and think with everything that's occurred in your life. You know what I'm saying? And really process it so you can make better decisions going forward. Creation, tools, resources, known goal, the start of a process. The process is more important than the goal. And that's the key. That's my biggest statement. You know what I'm saying? Is that whatever process you're going through, is more important than the end thing of the process. So be present in your process, be present in your collaborations, be present in your relationships, because that is more important than what you want to get to. The destination is more important. The journey is more important than the destination. It's a synonym. You get what I'm saying? So the starter process is a beautiful thing. Now write the plan down. We're gonna open this up. Now you got a process, a plan, break the play down, and find collective shareholders, stakeholders. And that's where we talk about collective again. Stakeholders, like I said, a person with an interest or concern in something, especially a business. So determining who do you want to hold stake with you in your journey, that also is determining who they want to hold stake in their journey, and be very present in the holding stake. You get what I'm saying? And really, knowledge himself, creation plus two. There's a lot. But these are the things you need to really execute. I'm not like it's hard executing. A lot of times, if you don't have all these things, like it's going not be sustainable because which is sustainability is next. Now, what do? You execute. Now, what is cooperative execution? Cooperative execution is using freedom plus collective to bring progress. Cooperative execution plus consistency equals power. So power is not built overnight. Community power is not built overnight. It comes from executing consistently, consistently doing something, consistently being in community, consistently growing. And as those people have kids. You get what I'm saying? And those people have kids. And those people have kids. Now we have power. Power is not, it's about creating what? Let's talk about it. Collective growth and execution over time creates culture. Do you get what I'm saying? And culture is where power lies. Tradition is where power lies. Understanding ourselves and being able to articulate it to the next person born is where power is really in it, for me at least, in my standard, in my life. Because I know if my parents and their parents didn't make the decision they made, I wouldn't be able to make the decision to be here today. We in Frugal Bookstore in Roxbury. Love Roxbury. This is my place. But because of my grandfather and my father. And then this is alignment of culture. It's a framework. I definitely share the links. Culture requires sustainability, which requires cooperative execution. You're not in this life alone. There's no way. If you want to sustain something, it requires cooperation. You can't sustain something by yourself. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna get old. You gotta compromise. You get what I'm saying? In my opinion. Continue. Compound interest is real, and opportunities are all around us. Sustainability should always be goals when it comes to building a business based off your personal talents, creativity. Go. And always remember too, put in work. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So just understanding, and I appreciate all you guys in your time. Just understanding that compound interest is real. The decisions you make today have an impact in 5 years if they're good decisions. Also, if they're terrible decisions. So you get what I'm saying? It's like double pronged. Do you feel me? And you never know what young person you are affecting. Small decisions made by my cousins and my cousins' friends and some of their friends have affected my life. You get what I'm saying? So understanding that what you do affects people you'll never see or meet and being okay with that. But then also understanding there's power in that. And the compound interest of your decisions is one that you can never really process or be able, like it's not an equation you know the answer to ever. You never know the impact of your influence. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, put in work. Yeah. Thank you guys. Now I'm here to take questions. You get what I'm saying? Of all types. What's up? Anybody have questions? Oh, we're good.
If you're in person, just raise your hand, start with your name, pronouns if you will, and keep it brief.
Yeah, I got a question. I think Edward,
Thank you.
Break
Break that
Yes,
video
thank you.
for the sake of
so that works period.
Thank you for sharing, Rob. It's Edward Marquise. My question, I'm not too familiar with co-ops or the practice of Ujima. I think the last time I heard Ujima was when I was like a kid with my mom, and I went to some Kwanzaa event, and they started talking about different principles, and Ujima was one of those principles. So I appreciate you sharing the knowledge. I'm curious though, do you have like any examples in the greater Boston area of like a project that was done through co-op successfully? I'm sure there's tons, but like, is there any like prominent ones or ones that are like in the works?
Yeah,
Curious.
I mean,
Thank you.
yeah. I know. You guys say.
You
I was
guys.
gonna say Dorchester Art Project, yeah, for sure. So Dorchester Art Project is a 6-member organization. Like I said, we took over a fledgling organization, and now we're on the process and in the path to build space. We are a part of several different entities and organizations, and we're like organizing together. Now, still, like as I said multiple times, it's still a work in progress. So it's like, what would your definition? I would love to hear like, what does a successful project look like? And then maybe I can go deeper into what a successful project was.
Something that has deliverables that you could share, some positive.
Okay, word. So we took Dorchester Art Project from negative, what, 80 racks or something to like over 300 in collective capital. So I don't know if that's success, but you get what I'm saying? So yeah, and then on top of that, we have several projects that we work on together, and we do our circles. We meet every week, and we have executed several things. We're part of the Jalen Brown has started a Black Wall Street program called the B Exchange Accelerator, which we got accepted into. The B Exchange Accelerator. So it was an accelerator with 10 businesses. We are part of his first cohort. That has got us featured in Sports Illustrated, Boston Globe, what was the Afro Nation, Tech Now, as a local organization. And we actually have developed and grown via demo day and different things of that. But even on top of that, we have build a strong organization that I know will be able to provide the exact value sustainable over time. And then even when it comes to Ujima, you know what I'm saying, and like what they're able to do in the the programming and the networking, and even there, fortunately, is fortunately mag a cooperative endeavor? Would you consider? Because that's some great writing. No bully, no bully. Yeah,
Well, it's supported by Ujima,
yeah,
so maybe one day.
yeah. Nah, because fortunately got great writing, but Ujima, and then of course, uh, other cooperatives. Yeah. You know, he's talking about us.
Oh yeah. Actually, everybody, this is Gio on staff, and if anybody wants to put anything in the chat, I just want to start with that first. Nia said, "Co-everything."
Co-everything are great. Yeah, we work. That's another thing. Cooperation among co-ops. Co-everything has worked with us. They were our technical assistant provider in searching for space, coming up with mappings, doing our performers for different building outsources. So they taught us frameworks for like actually how to sustainably find real estate. Now they're building their own like cooperative AI. They're actually building cooperative AI as well, like that can answer questions and allow cooperatives to develop. Yeah, so they're doing some pretty cool stuff.
And that's spelled co, and then the word everything.
Yeah.
Nia also put in the chat, Cero Cooperative, which is spelled CERO, and that is a compost waste commercial business. Okay.
And then there is also the Boston Center for Community Ownership, which actually helps organizations and cooperatives get established, which helped us in our initial process. We actually worked with several non-cooperatives that the city of Boston gave us great resources to build our cooperative, whether it be legal, whether it be SCORE. SCORE was a great resource, like whether it be just there was like 5 to 10 like the colleges around here. What college did we use? Suffolk University. We used like 3 or 4 colleges. Questrom, BU. They all helped us just in developing our legal, our frameworks, and our development because we came to them as an organized front. And then if let's say I didn't have capacity, Steph could pick up, or Adrian could pick up, or Lena could pick up, or Hawes or Maya. So our capacity expanded by 6 because you're only one person. So that's what I think when I see success is looking next to a person, and while I'm like tired and I'm burnt out, a person's still running with the baton. You get what I'm saying? And that, as a person that as an entrepreneur for 11 years, a lot of it being solo wasn't the case before. You know what I'm saying? And that in itself is success to me. Is when I look and I can call Steph and I know he just did work that I couldn't even fathom. He's looking at it from a whole different perspective. You know what I mean? And I think that, and then it also, even with my studio, so I own a studio in Braintree, Weymouth, that for music with 3 other partners. And even that is just like coming together, being able to cost effectively build a business and take on less risk. You know what I mean? Because I'm so used to taking on all the risks by myself a lot of times. So then when it like something goes wrong, it just you have to cover 100% of the flow. To where now with that cooperative effort, I'm covering 25. So now I can, let's say I could take that 100% and it builds your yeah, you know what I'm saying, and like it builds your capacity to do other things, and then I can also spend time focusing on what I'm really good at. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, rather than trying to focus on the whole array of the business. You know what I mean? Like I can really focus in on what I do great at a high level.